Somewhere in the far corner of this country, past the hills, past the checkpoints, past the internet shutdowns, children are dying. Not in a war zone, not in a foreign country, in India in 2026. And the question that no one in power seems to want to answer is this: why is it still happening?
हमारा कितनी लोगों का मौत हो गया है क्योंकि टेररिस्ट ने कितना को मारा है, मगर इंडिया सरकार नरेंद्र मोदी जी आप क्या कर रहे हैं? क्यों चुप्पन में रहा है? कितनी लोगों का छोटे बच्चों का कितने लोगों का मौत हुआ है? आपने आज तक एक आवाज नहीं उठाया। क्यों नहीं उठाया? मणिपुर आपका राज्य नहीं है, आपका स्टेट नहीं है क्या?
Today, we are going to go beyond the headlines, beyond the political noise, beyond the WhatsApp forwards. We are going to understand Manipur. What's really burning, who's really responsible, and what happens if we keep ignoring it. In April 2026, Manipur's Bishnupur district exploded again. A bomb went off, 2 children were killed. Let that sink in for a moment. Not militants, not soldiers, children. What followed was predictable, because by now Manipur has a pattern. Protesters filled the streets, security forces opened fire, more deaths, more curfews, more internet shutdowns. And then, silence from most of the country. This is not a new crisis. This is year 3 of the same crisis. But before you understand why it keeps happening, you need to understand who is fighting and, more importantly, what are they fighting for. At the heart of the Manipur's conflict are 2 communities, and I want you to understand them not as 2 sides of a fight, but as 2 groups of people with real fears. The Meiteis make up to about 53% of Manipur's population. They are largely Hindus. They dominate the Imphal Valley. They run the political and commercial life of the state. But here's the irony. The valley they live in, only 10% of Manipur's total land area. The Kuki-Zo tribal communities live in the hills. That's 90% of geographical territory. They are mostly Christian, protected under scheduled tribe status, and they have lived on these hills for generations. Now think about this tension structurally. A majority community, the Meiteis, controls power and the economy, but is geographically squeezed into a small valley. A minority community, Kukis, has constitutional protections, land rights in the hills, and feels like an outsider in its own state government. Neither side feels safe. Both sides feel like they're losing something. That is the pressure cooker that exploded in May 2023, and nobody turned off the heat. On May 3rd, 2023, High Court recommendation changed everything. The court suggested that Meiteis, the majority community, be given scheduled tribe status. Now, why does that matter? Because ST status in India is not just a label. It comes with land protections, reservations, and constitutional rights. And for Kuki-Zo communities, it was an alarm bell. Their fear was rational. If Meiteis gain ST status, they gain the legal right to buy land in the hills. And for communities who have lived there for generations, that felt like erasure. The protest turned violent within hours. Houses were burnt, people are killed, and the ethnic geography of Manipur, already tense, shattered into 2 hostile zones. Here's what I want you to sit with. This conflict didn't start with hatred, it started with fear. And fear, when mixed with politics, weapons, and institutional failure, becomes something far more dangerous. This is the part most news channels won't talk about clearly. So let's be direct. Reason 1. The state government lost all trust. Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, a Meitei, was accused from day 1 of bias. Kuki communities felt the state machinery, the police, and the local governance were not neutral. When the people who are supposed to protect you look like they are on the other side, you arm yourself. That is exactly what happened. Reason 2. Thousands of weapons were looted. In the chaos of 2023, police armouries were raided. Thousands of guns, ammunition, and military-grade weapons entered civilian hands. You cannot achieve peace in a state where civilians are militarized. This is no longer a protest situation. It is an armed standoff, and the government has recovered a fraction of those weapons. Reason 3. President's rules arrived too late. President's rules was finally imposed in 2025. That should have happened in 2023. By the time the center intervened decisively, communities had already hardened into parallel worlds. Separate markets, separate routes, separate lives. The psychological segregation is almost complete. Reason 4. No political incentive to actually solve it. And here is the most uncomfortable truth. There is no urgent political incentive for Delhi to solve this conflict. Manipur has 2 Lok Sabha seats. The state contributes almost nothing to national electoral math. It is remote, it is minority, dominated, and it lacks the media infrastructure to sustain pressure on the national conscience. Now compare this to how quickly other crises in electorally significant states get attention. Manipur teaches us something dark about Indian democracy. Some lives are just more politically valuable than others. Reason 5. Drugs, borders, and the Golden Triangle. This is the wild card factor. Manipur shares a border with Myanmar, part of the region historically known as the Golden Triangle, one of the world's largest drug production areas. Drug trafficking funds militant groups. Illegal weapons flows through the same corridors, and every crackdown on drugs risks triggering new violence. This is not just a law and order problem, it is a geopolitical one. Let me tell you what 3 of the ethnic conflict actually looks like on the ground. It looks like children who have grown up in relief camps, who have never known a Manipur where their neighbors were from a different community. It looks like 2 communities that no longer share markets, roads, or schools. The most dangerous development in Manipur right now is not the latest bomb or the latest curfew, it's the normalization. Violence has become routine, separation has become infrastructure. When communities stop seeing each other as human beings and start seeing each other as threats, that is when conflicts become permanent. Manipur is dangerously close to that line. There are 3 roads ahead of Manipur, and only one of them leads somewhere good. Scenario 1. The most likely. Managed chaos violence continues in waves. Neither community wins, neither community loses. The state remains under military management. A generation grows up with no peace to remember. Manipur becomes a frozen conflict zone like Kashmir, but without the international attention. Scenario 2. The worst case. Full escalation. Larger militant groups get involved. Cross-border elements from Myanmar, which is itself in civil war, begin interfering. The conflict becomes regional. India's northeastern border becomes strategically vulnerable. This is not a paranoia. The ingredients are already there. Scenario 3. The only acceptable outcome. Political settlement. This requires genuine dialogue between Meitei and Kuki-Zo representatives. It requires the center to stop treating Manipur as a problem to be managed and start treating it as a constitutional obligation to be solved. It requires a legal framework on land rights, SC status, and resource sharing. It requires accountability for the violence that has already happened. This will not be fast, it will not be easy, but it is the only path that doesn't end in permanent fracture. I want to end with something personal. Most of you watching this are not from Manipur. Most of you have never been there. And most of you probably didn't hear about the 2 children killed in Bishnupur until you clicked on this video. That is not your fault. It is the failure of the media ecosystem that has decided some states are worth covering and some are not. But you can choose to care anyway. Here's what you can do. Talk about it. Share the video. Bring up Manipur in conversations. The first step to political pressure is public awareness. Second, demand accountability. Ask your local representatives what India's plan for Manipur is. They should have been one 3 years ago. Third, reject the narrative that it's complicated. Yes, it is complicated, but complicated does not mean unsolvable. It means it requires effort, and that effort starts with people who care enough to understand. Manipur is not just a state issue. It is a test of what kind of a nation India wants to be. A nation that only shows up for its citizens when they are politically convenient, or a nation that believes every single Indian life deserves peace, safety, and dignity. The answer should be obvious, but right now in 2026, children are dying in Bishnupur, and that answer still hasn't come. Manipur is a land of extraordinary beauty, of incredible culture, of people who have survived more than most of us can even imagine. They deserve better. They deserve a country that sees them. If this video helped you understand something you didn't before, please share it. Subscribe if you want more honest, unfiltered analysis. And to everyone in Manipur watching this, we see you.